Farcaster 101 is an educational series brought to you by GM Farcaster in partnership with Snickerdoodle, building off of their State of Farcaster report, which you can access at snickerdoodle.com. This 12-part series introduces all aspects of the Farcaster ecosystem and helps you get started building your social graph and brand on Farcaster. GM Farcaster and Twitterverse and wherever you're watching from. You are here with Nonish, Prof, and Adrian, and we are doing our Farcaster 101 office hours. We just finished the last two modules on channels. And yeah, so we're just here to like answer your questions, chat about what's happening on Farcaster. And if you have questions about what's happening on Farcaster, drop them now. Oh, that was funny. I was just logging into Twitter to repost it, and it was like, Nonish Prof is live. So I'm like, oh,
you can
cool.
You can do an infinity mirror.
Yeah, I was like, oh, I am. That's amazing. So let's go retweet this. We are live, and come on and join us. We're also live on YouTube. Yeah, so we are excited to be here. Yeah, so let's talk about all the things that have been happening. So we just did our section on channels. And Adrian, what are like some of your favorite channels on Farcaster?
Let's open up. Let's see which ones I favorited.
Yeah. Oh, that's a good idea. It's a good way to do it. We could both do that. Yeah, we could just show it on the screen. I didn't even think of that.
Here are my favorited channels. Memes.
Yep. Mine as well.
Remember how good Memes was early on?
It was so good. And, you know, no shade, Johnny, but, you know, used to be better. Just saying.
I would actually argue this is probably to Johnny's credit. It was really good early on because he was so heavy-handed in curating it.
Yep.
And then once he extracted all the value he was going to get from being the meme lord, which is he probably has an infinite.
That's funny.
An infinite amount of warps.
He does.
Warp. Plus, he got the credit for being really good at memes.
Yep.
And then the world came, and I don't think there's anything in it for him anymore to keep cultivating.
He's busy.
Memes.
Yeah.
And he's a founder.
He's busy.
So to his credit, I think early on, yeah, it was all him. He was great.
Yeah. So it's so it's still one of my favorite channels, but I agree. It's fallen off a little bit. So memers, get in there. There's opportunity here for competing meme channels. Just saying. What were you going to say, by the way?
The order that the channels show up are the order that you favorited them, because I can tell these are channels that I was like active in 6 months ago, but may or may not be, or even a year ago.
All right. So what are your other ones?
My next one is travel.
Good.
Because love to travel, although I don't do it so much. Then I've got New York, which is my local. Farcast Her.
Yeah. Which, for those who don't know, that's a channel that was made very early on. It was one of the first like 20 channels or something. And it was to focus, to have like sort of a place for women to find each other on Warpcast is really what it comes down to. And it does make a difference, by the way. I think, because I found a lot more women to follow because of that channel. And I feel like a lot of women came in and felt more comfortable because of that channel. So shout out for Farcaster.
Hard community, I think, to scale.
Yeah.
And we saw this, and with the influx of people, everyone kind of was like, oh, it's a woman's channel. I'm a woman, therefore everything I do is welcome here and I will be welcomed.
Yeah.
What module do we use the party analogy with? Was that
I think that was in content, maybe. I don't remember.
Okay.
It might have been even earlier. I don't remember. But yeah, go ahead and say what you're going to say.
Well, it was just the same when you would see the influx of people. People came in as if they're coming into a party without actually trying to test what the vibes are of the party. It was just like screaming like,
I'm
here
here.
I
I'm here. You want to see all of me all the time and all my pictures. And yeah.
Well, this is coming up. Dan just announced today some more abilities for muting, because in meme coin season, you're really starting to see, I think, some, like we did also with degen tipping. It's like some people love it, some people hate it.
Yeah, so that just happened after we did our show earlier today, in that you can mute the $ and it will mute all conversation about anything meme coin, anything that has like a $ token. So that's going to be interesting. Yeah, I wonder.
Mute?
I feel like I want to start a different account and mute it just to see what it looks like and experience it that way and see if it makes a difference. I'm trying to think if I have one already. Like, I don't really want to do it with GM Farcaster, but I do have one other one that's been dormant, which I could just reactivate just for fun, just to see if it, does anything. If it changes my feed in a more positive way. I don't think it will, but
right.
It might.
And sorry, what I was saying was about actually the Anon, which is apparently in the last 12 hours.
Yeah.
Maybe people are using Anon casting, super Anon, to insult people. So there's been a little bit of meta on the feed. And what I was going to say about community building is, and when it comes to channels and Farcaster, right, which is like, if you want to have no curation, no censorship, full freedom of speech, and let everybody in, what happens is tends to be sometimes the louder, maybe extractive voices drown out, and then the good actors quietly leave, and you're kind of only left with the bad. So nobody wants censorship in a, none of us who are free speech maxis want censorship, but I just casted this. It's like, oh, but curation is good. Show me what I want to see, right? It's the same thing, which is, and it's a very difficult needle to thread for, I'd say, like Dan as kind of the head of product at Farcaster, but also just anyone building a community is how do you.
Well, it's just kind of like what we were just talking about with memes, with the memes channel. It was highly curated by Johnny early on, and it was better, period. Like, there's no comparison, right? I mean, but it takes a ton of work to do it well, so that you're not censoring, but you are curating, and that you're basically surfacing the good ones. And we saw and that was bound to happen, by the way, that a non-caster was going to be used, and anonymous posting was going to be used to insult people, was going to be used to, high school. Here we go. It's a burn book. But yeah, so that was like bound to happen. But I do like the approach that's evolving, is that, okay, here's the raw feed, and so that if it needs to be muted or it needs to be whatever, curated in some way, and here's the curated anonymous feed. These are the ones that we think are good. There's no issues. We're not worrying about anything. Here it is. So the other issue that I think a lot of people miss is that not everything is free speech. And also, by the way, the protections are against governmental action, not against private companies. They can, Twitter can censor you any way it wants to. It really can, because it's a private company that you're agreeing to terms and services. And there's also some responsibility about protection against certain types of speech that is not protected speech. So slander is a good example. Certain types of, your violence and things like that. There's certain limitations. So I think that gets lost sometimes, in that, your slanderous speech is not protected. and it can be either censored or there can be action taken against it. So that's the other thing that can happen with anonymous posting. And this has happened. I'm talking about like this has happened with Yelp in cases and things like that, where the platform had to reveal who said what because it was legally prohibited in some way or another. So we're kind of just finding that way with, it's not a new thing. It's just a new way of doing it. That's all. This is not new. But yeah, it is interesting to see the ever evolvingness of it all. Back to your channels. So Farcaster, we kind of got stuck there. What else you got? Give me like 3 more of your faves. At least.
Okay. Purple.
Awesome. And for those who don't know, what's purple?
Who doesn't know what purple is? Because
we're talking to a bunch of people on Twitter. They may not know.
I assume everyone who is at our Farcaster 101 office hours has gone through all 12 modules of Farcaster 101 and knows what purple is. Purple is a DAO whose mission is to proliferate Farcaster. It was created in 2022. Holy F.
Yep.
That was so long ago.
Just celebrated its 2-year birthday.
On our show.
Back in October. Yeah,
so,
October 25th. Yeah, about a month ago.
It was created permissionlessly, and it's awesome. And
it's awesome.
I have a few tokens. I have a few little purple.
I do as well.
Oh, and I have to go vote.
Yeah, and we have a prop up right now. I don't think it's opened yet. It hasn't opened for voting yet. I think it opens for voting tomorrow.
Oh,
it's not open yet. Okay. So it's okay. You're good. I'll ping you when it's open.
We will show you guys tomorrow. Everybody who has a purple token vote for our proposal. I follow the GM Farcaster channel, of which I am also a moderator. And I have an Adrian channel. These are channels that I've created.
That's right.
So I created.
I forgot about the Adrian channel.
Yep. I have Senius, which I created a Senius channel after FarCon Venice.
The beta? Oh, Venice.
Oh, this is funny. I have single parenting favorited because I'm not a single parent, but I created it on behalf of someone because I had so many works. So I created it, transferred ownership, but I must never have unfavorited it.
Oh, that was cool. I didn't even know that one existed.
Yeah, I do channel creation as a service.
That's because you have like 5 million warps or something. I don't even know at this point.
I have the writing hackathon, which was a channel. I mean, that's an example of an event. Actually, I should have done that. Yeah. I should have brought that
that's
up.
That's a good
example of an event or event channel. I created a channel for Philosophical Foxes, Farcaster Media, Spring, which I just created in our last module. Awesome. Oh, and then my recent, and here's some recent ones, which I don't favor, but FarCon NYC, Food, Nature, and the trending tab. And oh, should I change my PFP back, or do I leave it as the
as you you mean?
How funny was Lagrange?
That was so funny.
Literally teaching us how to create misinformation and turn that into verifiable history. Do you know what I'm talking about? Like by using AI, like purposefully plant misinformation in an AI, get the entire network to just believe it. This is what they mean by history, is written by the victors.
Absolutely. History is written by the victors.
Wait, and people really thought it was me. They believe that.
I still joke that it is you. Like, I mean, the first time I saw it, that was my immediate thought. Was like, that looks like Adrian. I mean, come on. Oh, this is funny. We have to answer this question.
Okay, yeah, this is a great question.
Can you tell me if there will be an airdrop on Farcaster? Here's what we can tell you what Dan has said. No.
Yeah, no.
And I do not believe there will be one unless there was a drastic change in the regulatory environment. And even then, I do not believe there will be one. but there
he
will not.
not,
He said no many
not
times.
only does he say no when he elaborates on it, he doesn't talk about fear of regulation. He doesn't talk
Yeah.
about risk of launching a token. He only asks one thing, which is
Yeah.
what would a token do? And unless anyone can convince him what a token would do, I don't know if he's entertaining that.
Yeah.
It does not stop people from speculating.
Yeah.
It
Oh,
is,
absolutely. Yeah.
it
They've
is
been speculating quite a
crazy.
bit for quite a
Yeah.
while. But he has been very strongly saying no. And having known him for a while now, I feel like if there was ever going to be a token, which I really don't think there ever will be, you would get plenty of notice about it. It wouldn't be one of those things that like he just all of a sudden goes on Clanker and does it. Like I just don't, you know what I mean? It's not going to be that kind of thing.
I don't
It
know
would
if I
be a,
agree with that.
you don't think so? I think it would be a very well thought out because of the question, what would the token do? I feel like it would be there would be signs. Like there would be
Maybe
planning.
signs, I just don't know
Yeah.
how much of a notice he's giving anyone.
I just don't think it would happen anyway. I
Mhm.
really don't. I really don't. I'd be shocked if it did.
Um,
And I think especially because there are other tokens that have been integrated that have done well and have done like maybe what a token would have done. Why would
like
he?
fan tokens.
Yeah.
Moxie fan tokens, like great, but
And Degen. Yeah.
yeah.
Things like that. Yeah. And even just anything else that's coming out of Farcaster that's driving attention to it, that's a token as well. So
I
yeah.
think a lot of people though probably do have this feeling of like, oh, Farcaster, what's
Yeah.
that? Should I go there? Will there be an airdrop?
Right.
So I think when we say I like to just say no, right? Let's just repeat what
Yeah.
Dan says, which is the only thing he's ever said, which is just no. I mean, like kind of no,
Yeah, no.
just no.
No, he either
So
says flat out no, or he does answer with that question. What would the token
what
do?
would it
And that's
do?
it.
And then there's
Yeah.
no answer.
Yeah.
Probably not a bad idea to ask him again, just in one of his AMAs, just because it's good to hear people in long form talk. However, though, for people who are kind of like, oh, what's going on Farcaster? Farcaster is a crypto native social network. It's built on a blockchain. Everybody has a wallet. It attracts builders. It attracts founders. There are airdrop opportunities on Farcaster. There are opportunities to earn money on Farcaster. There are opportunities by being, if you are active and if you are building, I'd say like, yeah, there's airdrops on Farcaster. There's no Farcaster airdrop.
Yeah, that's a great way to put it. Because we were both airdropped Degen just for being on Farcaster at that moment in time and being early. And I think that's probably the part that people are missing. Like, is that yes, there are these things that happen, but it's because you're there and you're participating actively. And that's what makes the difference. It's not just you were just hanging out and Dan launches a token. Like it's not going to necessarily be the Farcaster team, but there are things that that happen. Supercast is another one. So if you are a subscriber to Supercast, which that one is a different client for Farcaster, it does cost $10 a month. We did just interview Woj last week, like last Wednesday. So you can find that on YouTube or in Twitter on my feed. And that he specifically said, like, he's taking different opportunities and giving them to his subscribers. And he's done that with a couple different tokens that have launched via Clanker, where he has either gotten an airdrop for one reason or another, or gotten fees or whatever, and has shared them with the holders, with the subscribers of Supercast. So there's all these different ways. It's just not probably what most people are used to. I sign up for this platform, I do these different actions, I get these different points, and this equals some kind of airdrop down the road. So it just works differently.
Yeah. Hope that answers that question.
Yeah. It's a good question though. It's a question we hear often.
Yeah.
It's always a good one. Yeah.
Put any other questions about Farcaster in the chat and we'll answer them. It just occurred to me, I know we are finished recording our 12 modules. I wish we had said Farcaster requires proof of work more often
Yeah,
in the modules. I don't even know if it came up once. I'm sure it came up once.
it must have. I don't know if it did
Um,
though, now that you say that. But
and
yeah,
hopefully it is that because that's like
it's the motto. Yeah.
yeah.
And it does. I mean, that's what has come down to any airdrops or anything that have been given to Farcaster users it's been given to active users. The thing that's behind you right now was the OG token, which at one point was worth 4 ETH I mean, people were offering 4 ETH for it on OpenSea. And that token was airdropped to 938 active users of Farcaster in October of 2023, right? Yeah.
Mhm.
When it turned into permissionless. Before that, it was invitation only. And it was strictly like the NFT was strictly just like a memento of like, hey, you were active at this moment in time. And then it turned into this thing that like printed money because that was how the degen airdrop worked. And then people started to pick up on that. So then the value of the token itself went up. So I'll never sell mine. I know you won't sell yours. Um, I think it's something extra special that only if you were active. It wasn't even if you had an account. It was you had to be active at that moment in order to receive that NFT. So it's pretty cool. So that was the pre-permissionless one. All right, I'm going to share some of my favorite channels, and
Yeah, what do you have on your list?
I'm looking at my favorites, and my favorites are all the ones I've either created or I'm a mod for. So I just realized I haven't favorited many others besides Purple. So like GM Farcaster and Cast Out. Cast Out's our survivor-inspired game that's coming back in December. Those are the two. Then Builder, which is Builder DAO, which I'm the community resident for. That's one of my favorite channels because I'm in there modding all the time. Nouns, of course. So Nouns has a very active channel on Warpcast. The Nouns community sort of a little over a year ago, yeah, everyone moved over and was like, okay, we're all going over to Warpcast and this is going to be our primary source of communication. So that's been interesting. GMFC Network, of course. That's another one. So all my GM Farcaster stuff. Farcastles. I was very big into Farcastles for a little while.
Oh,
so
right. Was that the game? Was that channel-based game?
it's a game. The channel is a game. So you can, and it was kind of a unique method when it first started of and it's still going. The game is forever. But you had north and south. You have these two castles, and you can attack north or attack south. Those are the only commands. So exclamation point, attack south, exclamation point, attack north. You want to attack south, just letting you know. Just to be very clear, the only thing you want to do is exclamation point, attack south. That's it. But it's a really fun little game.
You live in the North Castle?
I do. I live in the North Castle, which is funny because I live in the South. But we all know that Florida is really the North. So it's it's really fun. It's a fun little channel. Farcast Her, On-Chain Media, which I've been slacking on. The Timepieces channel, which I also started. Purple, bring it. What's your question? What's up with that meme about Adrian's face? Would you like to explain the Adrian's face meme? So occasionally Adrian has a face that looks like a little like smirky, a little like really
Okay.
kind of like that. Yeah. And we just call it Adrian face. And it's like, she's thinking something that she doesn't want to actually say out loud. That is what the face means.
And some of our besties in the group in the chat like to say LOL Adrian's face while we're in the middle of a live stream. I didn't know I was doing it until it was pointed out. And Now, LOL, Adrian's face became
It's
a
a whole
GM
thing.
Farcaster meme.
It's a whole thing. That's why I said we're the keepers of the lore, but we also create some lore while we're at it.
So I asked GMFC 101 if we mentioned Farcaster requires proof of work during our modules.
Did we?
How cool is it that we have a bot that knows our content?
That's amazing. Adrian created an AI bot, and she's been working hard on it.
But it's going to get smarter.
It's going to get smarter. Needs time. So what did it say? Did it say no?
It didn't recognize me as the creator of the bot or as the host of GM Farcaster. It just said, welcome to the Farcaster community. So it thinks I'm a new user. Its job is to welcome new users.
Sure.
Hey, Adrian, welcome to the Farcaster community. The term proof of work is a concept from the world of blockchain and cryptocurrencies. It's a form of consensus algorithm that requires a participant to do a certain amount of computational work to verify transactions and create new blocks on the blockchain.
Well, that's cool.
However, in the context of Farcaster, a blockchain-based social network, this could metaphorically imply that active participation and contribution are valued and rewarded in our ecosystem. As far as I recall, neither you nor Nounish Prof, it did know, directly addressed this phrase in the Farcaster 101 series. However, the spirit of this concept is embedded throughout the modules. For a deeper understanding of Farcaster, I'd recommend starting with module 101, What is Farcaster, which you can find here with the link.
Fantastic.
Enjoy your journey and happy farcasting. We don't say farcasting, dude.
We should really say farcasting. I like that.
What are you doing tomorrow?
What's that?
What are you doing tomorrow?
What am I doing tomorrow? Tomorrow's Thanksgiving.
Say farcasting. I was setting you up for you're supposed to say farcasting.
It's like, I don't know. Eating turkey. I'm farcasting. Okay, tomorrow I'm just from now on I just answer that question with farcasting. What are we gonna do now, brain? Try to take over the world.
I love my bot. I'm sorry.
I love your bot too. It's so cute. It's doing great. All right, back to some of my favorite channels. Also love memes. Also, I do like the DGen channel. I have enjoyed it. It's fun. It's a good place to talk about all things meme coins.
Question.
Yeah.
What is the vibe in the DGen channel? Is it conversational? Is it degenerate? Is it?
It used to be very conversational, and I feel like it kind of shifted as DGen grew. Like DGen, the token and that ecosystem grew. It shifted to be more about that. Early, when it first started, it was very much just, shilling coins that you liked and just basically, memes about degenning. And there's still a little bit of that as well. But there's also just discussion about just different tokens, different things. But a lot of it's about the degen ecosystem now. So it's changed a little bit. But it's fun. It's a fun little channel. What are my other ones? Oh, screens. I like the screens channel.
I totally like the screens channel.
Yeah. I find good recommendations in there. I post in there every once in a while. The movie game is posted in there. So Chinmay of the Perks team does this movie guessing game where it's a frame with a sort of blurred out image from a movie. And then there's a hint and you guess what it is. And yeah, you can earn. Sometimes there's little prizes that go around along with it. So that's fun. And then reply guys.
I feel like we could do 12 more modules of just recommending channels.
Oh, totally. Totally.
All right. What's the last screen you saw that you liked?
The last screen, like the last.
What was the last thing you watched? Like, what was the last
movie? Oh, you know what I just watched, which was really good, was Man on the Inside, I think is the name of it. It's on Netflix and it's Ted Danson and he goes undercover in a retirement home and it's kind of hilarious. You may or may not like it depending on your age. I found it amusing, especially there's this part where they have the HOA meeting, not the HOA meeting, but like the retirement, there's a board, of course, and all they're doing is complaining. I'm like, this is every HOA in Florida. It was amazing. It was it was hilarious. Absolutely hilarious. I was like, Mom, you got to watch this. You're going to love it. So you may not like it, but your parents or grandparents might. So I do like that channel. I like the Adventure Channel. That's a great channel by our friend Sparks. Great channel. Go check that one out if you haven't already. She posts some amazing photos in there with little stories about her adventures. You can post your own adventures as well, but highly recommend that. I like the Base Builds channel. We talked about that in our modules, and that's a great one. If you're building on base, drop what you're building in there, and you can earn some ETH because they do a round every week, which is pretty cool. I'm just scrolling through to see my other ones that I like. Those are my big ones that I use a lot. I'm in nouns a lot.
Heath is having a nice day today, by the way.
Oh, good. Good. I haven't checked today. I saw it get up to 35 again, which was nice to see. I don't know if it's been past that yet.
Oh, yes. We're at
Oh, it is. Oh, it's quite past it. Okay, I'm really regretting that sell that I did this morning at 35. It happens.
Don't worry. You can't.
It's pretty much the reason for this little run up is because I sold this morning. Just a couple ETH because, you know, we got to pay bills. So that's hilarious. But what's going on with Bitcoin? That one's been down. I don't know why. Yeah, it's down again. Interesting. I mean, it still hasn't hit the 100K mark, and I swear that's Jim Cramer's fault. I swear. That man. He said everybody buy Bitcoin, and they're all like, sell Bitcoin right now. Thanks, Jim. All right. What are some other
Wait, what other channels are you in?
I am in, oh my God, I'm in so many. It's like ridiculous. Oh, the Farcaster Fridays channel is a good one. If you want to find, if you're looking for a meetup, first Friday of every month, there are Farcaster Fridays, and they happen all around the world. You can find one IRL, or you can join us here for the URL version, which will be happening next week on December 6th. And for that, we haven't even talked about this yet. I haven't even got it set up, but we're going to have Samantha doing some candle making and chatting with everybody. Yeah. So that'll be really fun. And if you haven't watched one of her candle making sessions, highly recommend it. The FarCon channel, of course. Again, I like the event channels too when they're happening. Founders is one of my favorite channels. I think this one is probably one of the best channels on Farcaster. If you are in a startup, into startups, like startups, it's a good one. Gen X, I do enjoy the Gen X channel. There's often some fun memes in there. For those of you of the Gen X persuasion, or for those who just, you know, vibe with the 80s, you can come hang. Hire is sometimes a lot of fun. That has some good ones. Oh, you know what we didn't talk about was 6 and July as channels. Oh. Both of those I really like from, they make me think.
And they're also people. Like they're like individual, they're like the person we could have done TED-It too.
Yeah, and TED-It. Yep, TED-It. I also like TED-It. Because they're based on people. There were people ones, and thinking about Doofy. Thinking about, yes, they make you both think. They really make you think. So we understand that's not for everybody. It's definitely not for everybody. The July channel is one of my favorites. Like, July is just a great person to follow. Super interesting. The July channel, he gets into, like, it can go anywhere. It can literally go anywhere. He can be talking about flying cars one minute and then talking about like the Roman Empire the next, and then he'll just go into like something crazy.
Did you see the thing, the meme he posted the other day, which was like the map of the things he thinks about?
No, I got to go look right now. I think I missed that.
My guess is it's too far back to find now because.
Okay. And then he starts Chappelle Rowan. He's talking about, like, it's all over the place, but it's also pretty interesting. He's talking about personal philosophies. I'm just like looking through, but there's also other folks will post similarly interesting things in that channel. So that's the other thing. It's not always about him. Samuel Huber posted about tanks. Okay. Like, that's what I mean. Like, it's all over the place, but it's really cool. So go check out the July channel. And then 6 is similar in that it has a lot of like philosophical thinking, that kind of stuff. It's fun. Did you see 6's post about, it's like a tweet from his mom, or a text from his mom? How's the job hunt going? And then right below that, he's talking about meme coins or something. It's like the notification came up, but he's like,
Clanker. Oh, is it like Clanker launch a coin or something? Like
something like that. Like, I can't remember the exact, but it was really funny. It was really, really funny. Yeah, so those are kind of all my favorite ones, I think. And then I like the art ones as well. I love jumping into those. There's some great ones.
This was my.
Oh, yeah.
You see this?
Yep.
I bet July is thinking about anyway. So this is the
accurate
science and math, theory and history of conflict, more science and math, Eastern philosophy. It's
this looks exactly like his. This is a great description of the channel as well. Like, totally. I like how there's, look at how much is history and conflict. It seems like a little too much in that particular area based on what he's working on. Can you circle back to the tech? It's pretty funny.
I actually didn't even really study this so much. I feel like it's worth studying. I should
it's pretty
check
interesting.
off which of these topics I know about.
This is funny.
Genghis Khan
theory and history. Say again.
I say, well, Genghis Khan is my great grandfather.
Really?
I know a lot about the Toyota production system and a lot about Zen. Let's see. I'm very interested in self-organization.
You know a lot about the Toyota production system? I don't know what that is. I've never even heard of that.
It is, have you ever heard of lean manufacturing?
Yes, I've heard like lean,
or Lean Six Sigma from back in the day, and now anyway. So, lean manufacturing came out of the Toyota production system. They're the ones who invented lean, which was a new way of kind of doing factory floor manufacturing.
I did not know that. I've always equated it with General Electric, because maybe they popularized it more. I don't know.
Actually, maybe I misspoke. I don't actually know who invented it, but TPS. I know the Toyota production system very much honed.
They might have
of lean, and it was also the precursor to the DevOps movement.
Oh, okay.
So
that makes sense then.
How it
connects. Yeah.
We're like, oh yeah.
That makes a lot of sense why you would know a lot about that.
Yeah.
I don't know what this map would look like for me. It would be
much
more chaotic.
I'll educate you all on one thing about the Toyota production system.
Amazing.
One takeaway is the idea is if you're trying to optimize a system, the only place to optimize is the bottleneck.
Okay.
You try to optimize anywhere but that bottleneck, it doesn't matter. So if you think about all like the different machines in a line and you're trying to kind of speed things up, you have to identify what the bottleneck is and improve that. If you improve literally anywhere else, it doesn't actually make your throughput faster. So that
makes a lot of sense.
One concept but it can be applied. And like, if you think about like large organizations, this can be applied in like the software world of like large organizations. Everybody wants to be super efficient and busy. And you have these like siloed different teams with like lots of handoffs. So you've got your manager being like, "Yeah, hurry." But unless you're not really optimizing for end-to-end flow or for any outcome, you're just optimizing for you to be faster. But you end up just kind of like being busy for no reason.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Not the bottleneck. TPS.
You know what reminds me of too? I don't know if you remember this from the Thread Guy interview that Dan did, But that was some of the advice he gave at the end was basically incremental improvement.
Yeah.
Which, yeah, like just continuous improvement, even if it's small.
Mhm.
And I did think that was great advice. And sort of a really good approach because I think you can even relate this to meme coins. I think there's a lot of people trying for those 100x, 1000x plays
Mhm.
instead of just trying for the one or the 2x or the 3x play. And that also is how you lose 100, 1000x as well. So you got to be careful with that sort of thing.
In my Tenger Ways consulting world, like with a lot of we do digital transformation stuff, which is like helping companies that probably should have started using technology better like decades ago, and they're not. And it's like, how do we, they're getting disrupted, they're getting challenged by new upstarts, and everybody's looking for like the quick fix. It's like, we need to reinvent our business. We need to transform our entire business. And half of what we do is just try to get people to not think that way of like, you don't need a home run, you just need a single. Like we just are constantly just hitting singles, just get on the base and you just kind of chip away.
Which I feel like that's good advice for almost anything. And that to me leads back to that lean Six Sigma kind of approach, is that incremental. But I think that's a good point regarding bottleneck. And I think that's similar to like the way Dan and Barun are thinking in terms of Farcaster. And so this like relates to me to his whole no marketing thing, which do I want him to, elevate up? Sure. But also when I think about this, like, do I want 1 million people jumping on the platform today? No, because it's not ready for that. And it would be like all at once, it would be a disaster. It would be absolute disaster because it's not ready for that. So yeah, you do have to make those incremental things. But, we've talked about that before. There were a few like easy, low-lying fruit kind of things that could have been done that didn't get done. But, I think he's starting to branch out a little more.
Well, we get to ask him about marketing on Monday.
We do. Very exciting.
Listen, I think it's very easy to criticize anyone.
Sure.
Right. And be disappointed in people when you find the one thing. But the guy literally lives and breathes Farcaster 24/7 from a product perspective. And I think generally it's like people get upset because I don't know why. I actually don't know why people get so upset.
I think they just want to see him. I don't know. I think they want to see them doing the things that other people are doing that they think are successful, but that not necessarily are. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like going to conferences, having these big presences. They look at the amount of money raised and think that's what he should be doing. And that's not necessarily the case. So
yeah. Or I think people come on Farcaster and it's like, look, I'm taking a bet on Farcaster by being here. I'm choosing to spend my time here and not Twitter, but also not Blue Sky or not Lens or not LinkedIn. Any other social network.
LinkedIn.
And I think people are just looking for some recognition almost. It's like,
there could be some of that too. Yeah.
I think people are looking for some recognition. And I also think people are, because the perception that, hey, because we're spending time here and investing time, this will only be valuable if Farcaster makes it. Like, if I'm here early, great. When everybody comes here, then I'll be the one. I'll be early. I'll have a following. So people have this expectation then, right? An expectation of like, I need like, and the, happiness is the difference between your expectations and reality. But I think it's like, so I think it's their fear of like, well, if Farcaster doesn't make it, I wasted my time. Why isn't Dan doing more? So it's always looking one to someone else. And I think we've built a business around Farcaster. So we very much are aligned. Like we would be we believe if Farcaster wins, we win, and we can kind of ride Farcaster's success and also, but one, it's not always all on Dan to build.
Yep.
Like everyone else can also, if we're alive, can do things, but people get upset about that because he's got the money, right? It's just, well, you raised money. If I,
so it comes down to,
he always says, well, what would they do if I hired someone? Like, it's not always a money thing. I think.
Yeah. Yeah, and he's flat out said that. He's had that conversation a couple times especially over the past year of, okay, so I hire this person, what do they do?
Yeah.
What is the goal? Like and those answers aren't there yet. And until you have those answers, it probably doesn't make sense. Do I think he could do more things like they did at DevCon, where it's the community that's sort of manning a booth and talking about? Yes, absolutely. I think they should do some very strategic ones, especially ones where it attracts more devs, because I do still think that is the right group to be onboarding at this moment, especially with Frames V2 coming.
I volunteer
Yeah,
myself.
we would be happy to be flown wherever to help man a booth. Like
I could do maybe a little Eat Denver booth.
Yeah, we could totally do that. Yeah, I'd love to see that. Like that would make a lot of sense to me. And also it gives you a place where people can find each other. So I loved the base booth. It was great to be able to know, okay, we're going to be able to connect with the base team. I loved what base has done with Base House at different events. Looking forward to that in Art Basel next week, all that kind of stuff. So yeah, it's interesting. Yeah, it's not, we may not always agree with all the approaches, but that's okay. It's not our business. And and Chris Corella said to let Dan know that he trusts his judgment.
Like, where you see that?
Somebody was talking about it was in a group chat. There was we were talking about Dan going on Thread Guy, and some people were like, I don't know if that's a good idea. And he's like, well, I trust Dan. He's like, and he goes, and the next time he's on GM Farcaster, tell him that I said. And I thought that was funny. Oh, did we lose her? She's got it's the kiddos. Are the kiddos home?
It's like Thanksgiving Eve. Yes,
I know. It's very active today. Yeah, I know.
They had an early dismissal, and
yeah,
if they only knew they were interrupting a live stream.
Well, we're about to wrap anyway. So
yeah, guys, where are all the questions?
Last call for questions. Last call for questions.
Can you tell the lighting? Can you tell it's getting dark? By the way, it's 4:30.
I was thinking that. That's so funny. I was noticing that your lighting is so different when it's in the afternoon. It's still plenty light outside for another couple hours for me. About 2 more hours. We were looking at that. I was looking at that with my son, and he was shocked at how early up north they get dark. Okay, so Monday we are going to have Dan Romero on. We will not be on this Friday for GM Farcaster. If you have questions for Dan, shoot them to us. We'd love to get those out there. So let us know. Anything else you want to do in terms of final thoughts?
We also have Matt's, the Dune co-founder and CTO, on Friday of next week. So
Friday of next week.
Yeah, we've been guest heavy.
I'm working on arranging Deployer as well from Ham. Yeah. And I meant to ask you that earlier to find out who else we had scheduled next week, because I'm trying to find a time for him.
Tampa Friday night.
So I'll see if he can do Wednesday. All right, cool. So Matt, is it MATS on Farcaster? Is it that one? Okay. So Matt's is Friday. DWR is Monday, and we'll see about Wednesday. Wednesday might end up being Deployer. I'm going to see if he's available. So we might end up with 3. We'll see.
And preview, Bill Z of Farts fame is going to come back on Friday, because Solana segment was so popular that.
When's he coming? When's he going to be on? Oh, wow. Okay, cool. I didn't even know that.
I said our Solana segment was so popular.
Don't mind me. I'm just learning our schedule.
We're gonna keep doing Solana stuff, because why not? Right.
I love it. So he's going to be on the 13th. Did you say?
Yeah.
All right. Awesome. Fantastic. Well, and Matt's can give us a little bit about Solana Dune dashboards too. Tell us the best ones for Solana Fridays.
Yeah.
Hey, did you see the meme coin launcher? Did you see the meme coin launcher for Solana?
Yeah, on Farcaster?
Yes, on Farcaster. Yes. Sorry. Let me clarify. Not Pump Fun. Yeah, this is similar to Clanker that's launching coins on Base, but it is launching coins on Solana. So that's pretty cool. And our friend JC was one of the first people to launch a coin. And her coin is called, did you see JC's coin?
No.
Want to guess what it's called?
Sparks?
Nope.
Adventure?
Nope. $GM.
Oh.
Little GM. Little GM.
Like the GM.
That's like sweet. Kind of sweet. We like the GM. All right, we're gonna wrap because Adrian's children need her. It's that kind of day.
No, they don't. They are teenagers. They do not need me.
They are children who need their mom. We're gonna wrap anyway, and I hope you have a lovely Thanksgiving, and have a grand old time. I'm gonna go tomorrow. I'm gonna be watching the parade in the morning. I love to watch the parade. I'm also going to be watching every Thanksgiving episode of Friends over the next 24 hours because they are always the best episodes of Friends, should you need to know that information. And having a little turkey tomorrow with the fam. And that's it.
Amazing.
Are you cooking or are you going somewhere?
I'm going somewhere, and I was asked to bring a fruit salad. So
yeah.
Why? You know, I know, but I got off very easy. Also,
that is an easy one.
That's another GM Farcaster meme. If you don't know, certain people don't eat fruit.
No, we do not.
But it's easy to make, so I'm going to go do that.
You're not going to put it in a Jello mold?
No. My oldest daughter is home from college, but flying back tomorrow. Do you know she's a cheerleader?
Yeah, I don't know about the rest of them.
Yeah, but so she's got to be in the game. Like there's a football game, college football game on Friday. So she's got to go back early. So she does not get to stay for Thanksgiving. It's very sad. And
I'm just glad she came home because she almost wasn't going to come home because of that.
She was a last minute thing. And then going to be hanging out of town for the weekend.
Nice.
Are you going to upload today's episode?
I am. I'll have today's episode will be uploaded shortly.
Okay.
And if you want, I can get it uploaded to all the other things as well. So you can just take the night off.
I can do it.
Okay. And we had a great chat with the Opacity crew, Doofy and Hirsch, or I'm going to say it wrong again. I can't believe it. I am going to Euler Lagrange. I got it right now. I'm like French.
It's still Lagrange in my head.
Still Lagrange. And also, I also start to hear ZZ Top when I say Lagrange because I think Lagrange. Yeah.
And it's also ZK, so like ZZ. It's like
exactly. It's a whole thing. It's a whole thing. But it was a great chat. Awesome. Thanks for coming by, Doofy, by the way. I don't know if you're still in the chat here right now, but thank you. That was awesome. We've had some great guests lately, and I've been really enjoying it. So that was a really fun one today. I enjoyed that a lot. I learned a lot too. I learned things.
And I learned things today. I saw you invited the Bankless guys on, so I just recast that. And
good. Let's keep bugging them. Hey, Bankless, come visit us. It'll be fun. Trussell State, RSA, come visit. It'll be fun.
Yeah, I feel like, well, who knows it? We know someone who knows them, so.
We do. We could, if we really want to make a push, we could make a push. But really, we'd love to have you pop by, especially they're sort of circling back to Farcaster. So I would love to chat with them. Especially David has been talking a lot about the various coins that Clanker is launching. So it would be fun to have that combo.
Yeah, Adrian's face, LOL.
Adrian's face. They'll learn.
I'm gonna launch a token.
You should. Adrian's face. Like that. It would be so funny. You know what I should do is keep a list of all the tokens that I thought of but did not launch. That'd be a great list. Ginger, when I thought of it, was like right after Blonde launched, and I do have proof before any other Gingers launched, but I decided not to do it because I was tired.
I still don't understand why I would launch a token. What would it do?
Why would you? What would the token do? Nothing. It would do nothing. And it would pump and dump. I know.
Like,
I get it.
I think I could launch Adrian's face, LOL. I think DeWoofy and Lynx and maybe one other person would laugh.
Yeah. There's no reason.
Maybe a few bots would buy it, and then what?
By the way, do you like that my glass is just like my glass of water it's like a light green. Yeah. So it's really funny. Yeah, exactly. Like there's no point to most of the tokens besides number go up. But the cast
number
out
go
token,
down.
but the cast out token will have some utility in a couple weeks. So you got to hang in there. So buy the dip is what I'm saying, but also I'm also saying don't buy anything. And there's no guarantee it's going back up. So meme coin responsibly. Have a lovely Thanksgiving.
Happy
We're
Thanksgiving.
Gonna call it. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody. It's been a pleasure. If you missed any of Farcaster 101, go check it out. It's all on YouTube, and the accompanying blogs for modules 11 and 12 will be out next week. And that's it. All right. I'm going to say goodbye, everybody.
Bye.
It's been fun. Have a good one. Bye-bye.